How bizarre, then, was that first Major League game?
Well, the first Major League game, well, I did spring training, and that was bizarre. And then my first Major League game was also bizarre. My first game in the spring, it was against the Chicago White Sox at Sarasota, Florida, at I think Ed Smith Stadium. And John did the first 2 innings, and I would do the third, fourth, and seventh. And so I come on in the third inning, and needless to say, I'm a little nervous. You know, this is the big time, and I know people are listening for the first time, and you know, people should give you a chance, but they don't. They listen to you for 10 minutes, and they go, "Oh, I hate this guy." So my first batter, I'll never forget, Randy Milligan, and he hits a routine ground ball to third, and Robin Ventura up with the ball, throws it over to first, and Randy, going down the line, trips over the first base bag and goes sprawling down the right field line and twists his ankle and is lying on the ground for like 15 minutes.
Oh. Okay? And you have to kill all that time.
There I am, just filling. And I kind of turn over to John to see if, you know, maybe John's going to, you know, jump in and help me. John's just sitting there with like a big smile on his face. I know. He's letting me have it. It's all yours, kid. And so I had to vamp for like 10, 15 minutes until play resumed. That was my very first batter. And then on opening day during the regular season, I go on in the third inning, and I get a tap on the shoulder after I do like 2 or 3 pitches, and I see that Dan Quayle, the Vice President of the United States, who was there to throw out the first pitch, sits down next to me and puts on headphones, and I'm slipped a note saying, "Interview Dan Quayle." So now it's like, oh, well, and now I'm joined by the Vice President of the United States, Dan Quayle, and I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to ask this guy? So I'm like interviewing Dan Quayle, and I'm calling my first inning, and it came out okay, and I got a tape back from the station, and afterwards I listened back, and it was fine, except throughout the entire interview, I kept calling him Dan, you know, which was probably a little disrespectful. Instead of, you know, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Quayle, I called him Dan, and so that was my very first inning of